Hi and welcome back to this very special location edition of the Headbangers Ball from the Roskilde Festival in Denmark. And right now I'm very pleased to welcome back to MTV Jeff from Pearl Jam. Hello, it's very nice to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
And we last met up in Cincinnati and so much has happened. You've been on the road for like 10 months. I was wondering, have you had any chance to enjoy your success?
A little bit. Actually, before I came over here, I went to Greece by myself for a few days, which was... I spent enough time with myself that I could actually like reflect and as far back as Cincinnati and actually go, wow, you know, I did some things that were actually a lot of fun. So, and I think that's one of the things that we've had a hard time doing this year is like the fact that we've toured so much and not really had a lot of time off to... So much happens every day, you know, I mean, whether it's a show or meeting people, certain people or whatever. And I think it gets to the point to where you start to kind of maybe even take that for granted a little bit or start to lose perspective on that. So it's nice to have some time off once in a while to kind of look back through your notes and see what you've done and look through pictures and stuff. So.
Absolutely. Now, when you finish in Europe, you're off on the Lollapalooza tour, which has just been extended, in fact. So, I mean, how on earth are you going to cope with that as well? I mean, touring is so grueling nowadays.
Yeah, and I think we're definitely at a point now where we're starting to feel a little bit tired. And hopefully the Lollapalooza thing, I mean... We're kind of approaching it like it's going to be this fun thing, and I think hopefully, you know, people will be expecting something a little bit different. I think we're going to come out and maybe do like a lot more covers and maybe some newer material, and just the fact that we've been on the road for as long as we have. I think some of the songs off of the record maybe aren't quite as fresh as they used to be. I know tonight, like some of the songs kind of took a more angry angle than they usually do, so we're pulling for all sorts of different emotions to kind of make the songs kind of, you know, happen again. So hopefully Lollapalooza will just be a kind of experiment in doing something kind of new and different.
And you've recently contributed 2 tracks to the Singles film soundtrack. Now, I have to admit, I don't know very much about this, but I know there are quite a few Seattle bands on there. Could you give us a little bit more information?
The soundtrack is like, I haven't seen the movie yet, but the soundtrack is amazing. There's unreleased stuff by Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Mudhoney. There's a great Smashing Pumpkins song.
Chris Cornell solo.
Yeah, amazing song. He wrote 4 songs kind of within the context of the movie, and that song Seasons is a really, really cool song. And the songs that we gave them, State of Love and Trust and Breath. Breath was an older song that we kind of felt like it was a great song, but we didn't know how fresh it was going to stay if we didn't record it, so we recorded that and gave that to them. And State of Love and Trust was actually a song that was written during the time that they were actually making the movie in Seattle, so it kind of has a little bit to do with, you know, what the movie's about. So,
I mean, when you're on tour, do you find much time to write new material, or isn't that a good environment for that process?
I think you can start ideas, and I think you can even individually, like I think you can write riffs, and you can even arrange a song from your end. But even the way that we write, like everybody kind of writes their own part, and it's a lot of the songs develop in the rehearsal room. So there's all these ideas, like a ton of ideas on tape and whatever that haven't been developed and haven't been taken into the rehearsal space. And I think even more than anything, like I think we're looking forward to just going back and practicing in our little rehearsal place in Seattle and just kind of getting back into that frame of mind, which will be nice.
And also perhaps having a bit of space, a bit of personal space, and, you know, getting back your personal life, really.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of that, so it'll be interesting to see how everybody kind of makes the transition back to the other life.
2 very separate entities, isn't it? Very quickly, can I ask you, when you've been on tour, you've been all over the world, you must have been absorbing things, there's different cultures, different countries. Do you think that's going to be reflected in the songwriting on your next album?
Yeah, definitely, and I think even further beyond that, I think next year we're going to try to tour to some places that maybe will even affect it even further. You know, I mean, I think we could probably do whatever we wanted to do. I think, you know, people are finding out that there's not really a lot of limitations as far as where you can play. It's just a matter of like how comfortable you want to be. A lot of times there isn't like a nice hotel and a nice shower like in North Africa or something like that. But I think next year we're going to intersperse like our touring with like more interesting places and not just do like Europe and the United States. But you know, next year we'll definitely go to Australia and Japan and hopefully some weird places like, you know, Africa and maybe more of the Eastern Bloc countries and that sort of thing. So.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to us. I know that you're very justifiably tired, and I hope you guys take it easy for a few days. And best of luck with Lollapalooza. Cool. All right then, Jeff, thank you. All right, right now we've got some music coming up as the Headbangers Ball from Roskilde continues.
Something she said, of course you're still alive, she said, oh, do I deserve to be? Is that the question? And if so, who answers? I'm still alive.
Nobody's seen this for 100 years.